G'day there. You're watching the Aussie BIM Guru, and this week we've got a fairly straightforward tutorial to round out the sort of sub-series on adding buttons to toolbars, and the one we'll look at today is stacked buttons. So we've previously looked at creating push buttons and pull down buttons which have push buttons in them, but we can be a little bit more economical with space again in our toolbar by stacking them. So in this case we're going to look at a new technique, but we're building upon what we already have. So if you don't have access to a toolbar, maybe check out the one on GitHub that I'm sharing lesson by lesson. If not, hopefully you're building your own. So again, expanding on the names of objects, in this case we're looking at stacked items, or a stack as a lot of people call them, and they can vertically contain 2 or 3 items in a smaller space, effectively the same space you would use up for a typical push button. So in this case you can store a lot more types of buttons. We haven't learned every single button in the Revit API, but in this case we'll be using pull downs and push buttons. So in the demonstration we'll, in this case, actually just look at the base setup that I've used in order to prepare for having this many items. So I've set up a lot of icons and tooltips in preparation, so you don't have to watch me, but I will still cover what I've added. As well as this, we're going to create the stack itself and access its items, and finally finish up the series on buttons. From there, we're going to be moving on to the Revit API and starting to look at collecting and filtering objects, which will then eventually apply in a full command. So let's just quickly look at the Revit API first. So in this case, we're going to be utilizing the add stacked items method that belongs to the ribbon panel class. And there are 2 overloads available for this. So you can either add 2 items or 3 items. And in this case, the thing that we're adding is a ribbon item data object. And a lot of things actually inherit from this. So in this case, we can put in combo box data, radio button data. These are things we haven't learned about yet that can also be added as buttons. But in this case, the 2 things we're looking at actually inherit again from the UI button data class, which contains, in this case, the pull down button and the push button data class objects, which we've been using so far that you're familiar with. So just recall, we're going to be adding this to a ribbon panel. We're not going to create an extension method this time because the method itself is sufficient to run this process, but we're going to have to access the objects once we create them as well. So I'm just going to jump straight into our project. So what have I already set up to enable this? Well, we have to stack some things, right? 3 things. So I'm going to stack 3 pull downs. So in order to accommodate this, I've created 3 new command classes called stack1, stack2, and stack3. And each of them contains a command class called button, or cmd_button. So to account for this, I've also had to set up some tooltips that align to this. So in this case, I have stack1, stack2, and stack3 tooltips, and also stack3 and stack2 and stack1 buttons, counted by tooltips. And I also have, in this case, icons for stack1, 2, and 3, and also icons for the buttons that belong to those stacks as well, in a 16 and a 32-bit resolution. So you are going to need to set up that amount of infrastructure to support a stack. It's going to contain a lot of things. It's effectively like a mini panel in principle. So just make sure you have those things available before you actually go to stack something. So in this case, we're going to just go back to our application. And in the ribbon setup, we're actually going to prepare our stack. So we need to create the data objects first, the pull button data objects. So I'm just going to create the data objects for the stack. So I'm going to take my panel, so panel general, I'm going to add stacked items. And in this case, I'm going to be adding some things to it. So if I check the overload, I actually need ribbon data in this case. What I'm going to do is actually go back a step and create those data objects first. So I'm going to say stack1 data is equal to, and in this case, I'm going to make a pull down button data object. So I'm going to go to grib, which I don't believe is referenced here. So I actually need to add that using grib equals guru.utilities.ribbon utilities. There we go. And I want to create a new pull down button data object. And in this case, we need to give it a button name. So I'll just call this stack1. And the class name, again, is going to be this new class that I've created to accommodate this. So we'll just expand this to see it. So this is going to be guru.cmds_stack1. And that will be the full pull down button reference, and I'll just make sure as well that you've got your namespace set correctly, not just the folder. It's very important. And of course, we're just going to also create stack 2 and stack 3 data. Of course, we need to give them unique variable names. Stack 2, stack 3. Now we can stack these. So we can create a stack. So in this case, I'm going to take my panel and I'm going to add stacked items. And now I can add stack 1 data, stack 2 data, and stack 3 data to stack these 3 objects. Now, what is this actually going to return? Well, in this case, it actually returns an iList or a list of ribbon items. So we can actually retrieve these pull down buttons from this reference. So I'm going to say var stack. And now I can actually get the pull down. So I can say pull down stack 1 is equal to stack indexed at 0. Likewise, I can do the same for stack 2 and stack 3. And now that we have these available, so 0, 1, and 2 as the indices, 2 and 3. So now that we have these available, what we can do is add push buttons to them, just like we did with the pull downs before. So I'm just going to create one push button on each stack. So I'm going to add buttons to stacked pull downs. And I'm just going to borrow some code from before. So 2 pull down stack 1. I'm going to add, in this case, button 1, and in this case, it's going to come from cmds stack 1 command button, which we can see is available. Now, in this case, I've got something funny. It's a ribbon item. What I also need to do is say as. So I'm going to cast this to, in this case, a pull down button. Now I can do that, but I can also be more specific in how I declare the objects when I say var. So maybe I'll do that. I'll say pull down button, and now the compiler knows that it's dealing with this ribbon item as a pull down button. Now I think in this case it's still not creating a conversion, so we do have to use as our syntax still. So we're going to use the as word. So this is something we haven't learned yet, but it's a little trick. And this will tell this object you're being dealt with as a pull down button, because you inherit from the ribbon item class. So now we can be more specific and treat this as a pull down. So we can see this is a pull down button now in the variable. And now it supports adding push buttons because it is of that extended class. So again, now we can just add button 2, button 3, stack 3, stack 2, stack 1. I might just call these button. They're not really button 1, 2, and 3. They're just buttons. You do need to reference the right command and the right variable. So assuming this has worked, we should now have 3 stacked pull downs, each of them containing a button. So I'll just run my debug and we'll have a look at what's happening. We can see by creating these extension methods and helpers, we're able to save a lot of space in what would usually take a lot of room to do without all these methods and extension methods. So we can see in just about maybe, it's probably only about 30 lines, maybe not even, probably about 20. We've created a lot of different types of buttons and arrangements connected to the commands in our toolbar. And these tools will give us the ability to start creating a proper toolbar, which the series is going to pivot into. Just a very quick little technique today. So let's just have a look and see what we end up with. And there we go. We can see stack 1, stack 2, and stack 3 utilizing the 16 by 16 pixel icon. And we can see each of them has a button and they should all work. And we can see their tooltips are registering as well. So we've created 3 different arrangements of buttons across these 3 tutorials. Now you can of course stack other things. You can stack a push button with pull downs above and below it. It's up to you, but in this case my preference is generally when I build a toolbar, I like to use a combination of big push buttons for things that need to be really big and obvious like settings or pull downs, and then I like to use stacked pull downs for my core utilities that represent the toolbar itself. I find push buttons a little bit too big and clunky looking when it comes to the actual tools. I like to use stacked pull downs, but it's up to you. But with these three techniques, we now have the ability to pretty much begin setting up our toolbar, because without any of these lessons so far, we would have had no way to even represent our commands on our toolbar. So that's it, just a very quick little lesson today, but a very useful one. So if you're keen to see how I implement this and more, feel free to check out my toolbar over on GitHub, gWhiz. And I guess in the next video, we'll be jumping into learning more about collecting elements and working with the Revit API, which will lead us towards creating meaningful commands that we can attach to these buttons. So thanks for watching today. If you like what you saw or you found it useful, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share, and let other people know about the series. And you can reach me at the email here or in the comments below. And I look forward to seeing you in future similar videos. Thanks. Take care.